we're back on track. Yes? Yes. All right. We're back on track. I think we're good. I don't know what happened. For some reason, Facebook booted it out. But I'm going to pick up where I just left off. So, I'll just reread the question. We had two more to go. AJ Coates. How do I begin training my first hire? Hey, Sean/mentors. First question here for me. I'm about 8 months into my entrepreneurial journey, and I'm quickly learning that I don't have the time or bandwidth to accomplish everything I sell. My business is a growth agency that includes web development, and I've had a skilled friend working on a project-by-project basis for the last 6 months. We're financially at the point to support hiring him part-time, and I'm excited to be training him to do many of the low-value tasks that are currently on my plate. But I'm also nervous about this, as I know that many first hires don't work out well. I've also seen how a training process can make or break someone who would have otherwise been a good team member. I really appreciate input on what you've learned relating to this topic. Thanks in advance, AJ. Okay, cool. So, yeah, well, you're right on track. You definitely need to have a training plan. What I would recommend doing on this is I would make sure that you have a very clear job description. And I don't mean a job description like that you put on Indeed. That's just like some generic thing that, oh, this is what we want. I would say like literally like here's how you do all the steps and here's all the things that are needed in order to be successful in this business. You got to map it all out. You've got to like piece by piece. In fact, this is another thing that we should do like a little workshop on or something and just get it out of the way all at once. The idea is that if you don't, it's not just training, like here's how you do this task, but it's also expectations of even if you do the task, how do we know that you're successful, right? Like, so like you might tell me to do something or show me to do something and I think I did it fine, but your expectation is different than my expectation. So being very clear with that and documenting all of those pieces at the onset makes all the difference in the world, because if you don't, not only can you not really train people that well because you can just kind of show them how to do stuff, but they're still kind of floundering around in terms of like, okay, when do I do it? How quickly should I be doing it? When should I do it again? Like all that stuff. You've got to have that whole system and process built. So how do you do that? Yeah, it's. I actually have a template that I've actually shared with a lot of people at this point, which I can share with you as well. If you want to reach out to me, either through Shirley or Sean or whatever, I'm happy to share a template with you that might be very helpful. So, but anyway, in a more generic sense, you do have to make sure that training starts with knowing what the job is. And so make sure that you know what the job is before you start training. And then it becomes a much more easier process, because then you know what items you're missing, because you can then just create the training materials to the job description. And as you make the training materials, you have all sorts of options. Don't forget that as well. That training is not just one way, and depending on who they are, where they are, what type of thing it is. I've heard people that create, they create written processes, they create workflows, they create videos of showing them actually how to do it, and people can click and watch all the videos of how to do something. That's a huge thing, which is actually a really easy way to quickly get a process documented. But yeah, you've got a lot of options there. It's a matter of just kind of choosing one and then doing it thoroughly, and then making sure that you give the person support when they're reviewing the documents or videos or whatever, to kind of help fill in any blanks that they might need assistance with. But again, the first step is knowing what the job is and what all the components of that job are, so you can build the proper training to meet that. So first step, what's the job? What are all the job components? Get that all listed out. Don't be afraid to write stuff down. We don't spend enough time writing things down. We kind of know it in our head, and then we just start. And sometimes if we just take that extra 5 or 10 minutes to actually bullet point it out first, that can really expand the depth of what we're able to build and efficiently get things put together. All right, Rosalie Alcoque, Acloque. That's a great last name. I'm gonna look up and see where it originates. Rosalie, how do you get out of your own way to reach your goals in business? I have a small accounting firm. I keep sabotaging myself, and I want to be intentional to stop the self-sabotage. Okay, so this is true how to reach your goals in business. I think it's true of how you reach your goals in anything, right? You hear about this with people who are trying to lose weight, or who are trying to run a marathon, or who are trying to, complete a degree or whatever. Like whatever your goal is, it's all the same. It's not different. So for me, it always comes down to consistent action, consistent activity that moves towards the goal, right? We have a lot of focus in our minds and kind of in our culture on like, here's my goal. It's this thing over here, and it exists in like this kind of like imaginary place. Well, it exists in that imaginary place until you define what the actions are to get to that imaginary place. And there might be many, many steps in between the goal and where you're at. So it all comes down to actions. And when you make the plan and you measure this effectiveness of those actions of getting you to the plan or to the goal, then and you do that every single day. And I would say every single day. And here's why. In my experience, if I make an action for myself that I'm supposed to do a couple times a week, it's really easy to skip it when it just comes around every couple days. But if I do it every day and I know I have to do it every day, then that's a completely different story, because now I have to do it every day. There's no excuse. It's like, oh, it's Wednesday, I don't do it on Wednesdays. There's no way to form a habit of not doing it. So I would take your top 2 or 3 important actions that you've decided are going to push you towards the goal. And they might change over time, because sometimes it gets you to that next step, and then you can change the action and do something else. In fact, you're going to be doing that a lot on the whole big journey. But that's where you focus your attention is on those actions as you go along. And what I do is I kind of focus on 3 main ones, and I make sure I try to hit those 3 each day. Each of those 3 things. And am I successful at hitting each of those 3 things? No. But if I don't hit them each day, I'm very aware that I didn't hit those 3 things each day. And so, like for example, right now, mine, the way I have them defined, like from a title perspective, is fun, fitness, and finance. Fun, fitness, and finance. So at the end of the day, I can write in my, actually I do it on my text. I send it to a guy in Nebraska who I've known for 4 years, and I've been sending him texts every night for 4 years. And he's been sending me texts every night for 4 years, reporting in, did we hit our 3 things each day? Fun, fitness, and finance for me. And I just send him a text that says, yes, if I hit all 3, I said 3/3, which means I did something in those categories to move forward based on the definitions of those 3 categories. Each one is a little paragraph that I wrote. So I would recommend you do the same thing with any goal you're trying to reach, is what are the 3 things that are kind of pushing you towards that goal that you should be doing? Like let's say it was to lose weight. Okay, so I'm going to, eat less than 2,000 calories. I'm going to exercise for 20 minutes, and I'm going to, I don't know, something else that you do to lose weight. Don't eat any sweets. So that's an easy one. Like, right, if I'm trying to lose weight, if I do those 3 things and I do it consistently every single day, I should see a result. Then if I don't see a result, then I need to change those 3 things. Either I maybe have to change the volume or intensity of each of those 3 things, or 1 or 2 of those 3 things, or I have to maybe replace one altogether. Well, you know what? Actually, the sweets thing doesn't really matter. I can eat sweets if I want. I'm better off doing, double duty on the fitness side of it. I don't know. that's kind of the method. Is like, what's the goal? What's the actions that are associated with the goal? Here's the 3. We do them consistently. We report in. We have an accountability method of reporting in for those 3 to make sure they're done. And then we measure. And we measure the result. And then we measure the activity that we did. And, are we getting the result that we want based on the activity we're doing? And that's about it. And then the same thing happens. And you also mentioned self-sabotage. Sometimes I'd like to know what self-sabotage means to you. It doesn't necessarily, are you really self-sabotaging, or is it really like you're just kind of like getting distracted and doing something else? Or are you making commitments to yourself to do things that you don't really want to be doing? And like when you really imagine the outcome, it's not worth the effort you're putting in now. Like sometimes that is true. Sometimes I ask people to think about that. It's like, this is my goal. Okay, cool. Now imagine that you have that goal. Are you happy? Like, you happy that you've achieved that? No, I don't really care. Okay, well, why is that the goal then? Like, pick a different goal. Then it's not really self-sabotage. It's more just kind of like deciding to do something different, but haven't really, you've emotionally decided to do something different, but you haven't intellectually changed the goal yet to match how you've emotionally decided to do it. Sometimes that's a little bit more representative of self-sabotage than really sabotaging a meaningful goal. Okay, cool. That's a good conversation. Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened there in the middle of the live stream. Facebook went crazy, but now we have 2, so I think we should be fine. That's it. Talk to you guys all whenever I see you. Reach out to me anytime. Talk to you later. Bye.